Hey guys, Marsningen here, bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so today we are revisiting the GT Legendary Goku event to go over a couple of the team missions as some alternate team builds in order for you to be able to complete them, because obviously I wanted to get the missions done as quickly as possible, so I used the actual category leaders since I did have every single one of them available, but a lot of people don't, and a lot of people have been asking for like teams that can do them without the specific leaders. So this one of course is the Connected Hopes run, and this is without using the AGL PAIKUHAN. So if you don't have access to AGL PAIKUHAN, this is a very solid team. I'm pretty sure this is, I posted a screenshot of this like the day before the event came out, basically saying if you don't have access to PAIKUHAN, then this Super Saiyans team is actually going to be very, very effective. So as you can see from this second turn here, the team is comprised of the double STR Namek Goku leads. I just did a quick double check on the links because I haven't really leveled up mine. The friend is not fully level 10, but he did have a few 10s, and the rest were like 8s and 9s, so I put him in slot 1. He's going to be the one that will sort of generally keep around on main rotation. Because obviously he's slightly better with the highest links. They're both rainbow. So now, one thing to bear in mind if you are going to run this strategy, I had to like have a quick look at what Namek Goku does, because I haven't really used him for a long time, just to double check all of the ins and outs of his passive. And one thing that's very important is when he gets hit, when he's in his base form, he gets 15% extra attack and defense up to a maximum of 59. So basically you need to get hit 4 times and then you will get that bonus, and then obviously once you transform up to Super Saiyan you will still have that extra attack and defense. So the way it's very unfortunate, it's kind of like the power absorption run that I did, where I was talking about how Physical Mirror can transform too early, or the STR Super Boo, if you're on like too low HP, he'll transform into Boo Tanks, which you don't want. So in this setup, if you're using Namek Goku, ideally you really want him to get hit 4 times before he transforms. It's not the end of the world if he doesn't, because once he transforms up to Super Saiyan, he does infinitely stack defense, and obviously he does have the chance to guard. So it doesn't make like the biggest difference in the world. Like I said, it's not going to be a run killer like the Boo Tanks transformation can be for STR Super Boo, but you definitely do want to try and make sure you can do that if possible. And it's very useful to try and do that in the 2nd and 4th phases, because you are fighting a physical enemy. So obviously it's a lot easier. This, you know, early on, this 2nd phase is ideal because he's physical and he's not hitting as hard as the later stages. But yeah, the 4th stage is useful as well. Just put those Namek Gokus in front of as many attacks as you can, so they can get their passive fully built up. So then, of course, we are using the AGL Spirit Bomb Absorbed Goku. Mine is 79%. I have fully link leveled him. He's really good. The one thing you obviously need to be careful about once we get to the very end of the event is the fact that the final Goku is tech. But basically throughout this event, you'll see there's a couple of times where I do just go ham on the 18 key super, but sometimes it's smart to deliberately go for the 12 key super with the Spirit Bomb Goku, because when you do his 12 key super attack, he does raise his attack and defense. So obviously that means he's able to tank hits that little bit better. But just like some of the other team builds and the runs that we've done, I would try and save at least one defensive item to use in that final stage whenever we have to have like the Goku on rotation, because obviously ideally what I will aim to do is once we get towards the end of the Int Super Saiyan 4 Goku phase, I will then float off the Spirit Bomb Absorbed Goku so we don't get him as regularly in the Tech Full Power phase. So the other rotation that we run pretty much throughout the event here is the Gogeta and the Super Saiyan Gotenks. I mean, we're just originally base form Gotenks, but yeah, the Dokkan Fest Gotenks. Both of them raise defense on super attack. Obviously, Gogeta, as long as you can pick up 1 Rainbow Orb, he has a 30% chance to dodge. So that can come in very, very handy. Especially because with both of them raising their defense on super attack, ideally they want to be in slot 2, so they can tank better. So Gogeta having that chance to dodge, it means you can put him in slot 1 and kind of roll the dice on the RNG. And another great thing about Gotenks, he has these chances to do additional super attacks, and then obviously if you have dupes as well, you can see here I get 3 super attacks in this one turn. He greatly raises his defense on super attacks, so every single time he super attacked there, he was raising his defense by 50%, and he attacked 3 times. So he can actually tank really, really well. Even after 1 super attack, his defense is pretty high, but he can tank very, very well. So we're going to put Namek Goku here in front of all of these physical attacks. He's not going to take a huge amount of damage. And then because Spirit Bomb Absorb Goku doesn't have to get hit at all, we go all in with the AGL orbs and get the full 24 key super for him. So obviously he's going to do a ton of damage. You can see the attack and defense up icons are not appearing at all. So this friend Goku was already maxed out going into this turn. I believe my one is not fully maxed out. I can't remember if he actually does get maxed before they do eventually transform. But so obviously Namek Goku, he does fairly decent damage pre-transformation, and then once he transforms to Super Saiyan, like I said previously, he does infinitely stack defense, but he doesn't stack attack. So he's not the hardest hitting unit in the world. He's very good defensively, although there is a little bit of RNG involved in that as well, because he's not guaranteed to guard. But his guarding ability from his passive, it works just like the B-Pan one, where if it doesn't activate when you take the first hit, it can potentially then activate on the second, third, fourth, etc. Some passives that are like that, like I can't remember if it's STR Ultimate Gohan that's like that, but there are some passives that when you get hit the first time, if you see that it hasn't activated, it will not activate throughout the rest of the turn, regardless of how many times you get hit. But Namek Goku's will activate at some point if you get the RNG for it. So that is obviously very good. You obviously don't want him to take too many hits without his passive activating. But at least once he has transformed and gotten to super attack quite a few times, his defense is actually going to be relatively high. And then of course he does have access to the Rage Mode active skill, although I believe that we don't actually end up using it in this run at all. But we ended up with both Namek Gokus on rotation, so they're both transformed. Like I said, I believe my one was not quite fully built up at this point, but I'm only going to keep one of them around on main rotation most of the time anyway. And you can see here, we are super close to the Dokkan attack, so I decided to go ahead and put Namek Goku in slot 1. Obviously, his defense is not the best for using in a slot 1 unit, a slot 1 turn, but this is the perfect opportunity to do so because we are fighting the STR Great Ape. So, of course, AGL Spirit Bomb Goku, definitely the best option for the Dokkan attack here. As I was saying just now, of course, the Namek Goku definitely doesn't hit very hard. Certainly doesn't hit as hard as LR Spirit Bomb Absorb Goku. So we go ahead and put him in slot 1. Fairly decent attack stat. We didn't pick up a ton of orbs because he does have that nuking style part of his passive. But we still get a very solid 5.3 million damage without a crit. So that is a very good start to the Ozaru phase, because obviously this is probably the phase that everybody hates the most. I believe, in fact, even with the fact that you have the full power Super Saiyan 4 Goku as the last phase, I think it was Sunblade was telling me that the Ozaru actually has the highest base attack out of the enemies in all 3 of the stages, which, I mean, I've seen enough screenshots of people getting KO'd by the Ozaru super attack to believe that that's true. So yeah, so we'll go ahead here again, the same strategy. We use Gogeta in slot 1. He comes through with the 30% dodge and then fires off his super attack, raising his own defense. We get a crit as well. He follows up with a single dodge, and then we still do take 57k despite having raised our defense. So I mean, you can see what I'm saying about the Ozaru being pretty hard hitting, and then you can see the difference with the Gotenks. My Gotenks is only 79% compared to the Gogeta, who is Rainbow and Easy Aid, and after 1 super attack, the Gotenks was taking basically no damage from the normal attack. So one thing that I've learned recently from not just this event, but also when the new ESBR stages dropped, but I feel like in Gotenks is kind of underrated, because when that Dual Dokkan Fest came out, Everybody was quite disappointed with the Tech Exchange Boo. Some people do like him, some people think he's complete trash. Most people consider him to be at least fairly low, at least on the low end of the tier for especially most recent Dokkan Fest exclusives. But the Gotenks, he's really, really good. I don't think he gets enough credit, especially because when he's in that Super Saiyan phase, the fact that you can super attack, as long as you've got dupes or skill orbs to give him additional, he can super attack 3 times. And if you get the actual triple super attack turn, he raises his defense by so much that he just basically doesn't take any damage, which is, you know, obviously really, really good. So we are finally onto the Int Super Saiyan 4 Goku. I'm taking a second to decide whether to use an item here. I think I do. Yeah, because it's my my Namek Goku who wasn't fully built up and hasn't super attacked as much as the friend one. I was a little bit concerned about maybe him getting a super. And then, of course, the biggest thing with this event, which I'm sure you're all kind of used to at this point, is you can very much be winning a run and then the wrong unit takes a super and you take a ton of damage. So, for example, that attack in slot 1 against our Gogeta could have been a super attack from Goku, and we could have not gotten the dodge. And so, obviously, without an item active, we would have taken a ton of damage. So, sometimes it is safer to just activate the item just in case. This turn has played out fairly well. So, realistically, I don't think we necessarily would have needed to use it. But it lasts for 2 turns, so that gives us the advantage of having it next turn. And of course we have the Spirit Bomb Absorb Goku here, whose defense is definitely not the best. So the fact that we do still have the Whis active is obviously very beneficial for this turn. So I'm trying to decide whether to go for the 18 key or go for the 12 key for the defense raise. And I decide that since we have the Whis active, I might as well go for the 18 key super. Try and do as much damage as possible. Although unfortunately in doing so, the orbs drop down in such a way that I then could not get a super attack for the Namek Goku in the final slot. Which is a little bit annoying because obviously any of your units on your team that infinitely stack their defense, you obviously want to be super attacking with them as much as possible. So missing out on a super attack with him is not really what we wanted. But he is pretty built up already. When his guard is activated, I think he takes double digits even from the full power Goku phase, but obviously we would very much have liked for him to actually get the super attack off there. But we're doing alright so far. I've done quite a lot of damage to him already. We're pretty much, I guess, halfway looking at his health bars here. So again, same strategy, Gogeta in slot 1. We go ahead and transform the Gotenks here. When he goes up to Super Saiyan 3, for the first couple of turns you get a guaranteed additional super attack. I decide to do that now because in the final phase, this Gotenks is going to have type advantage anyway. So I want to try and maximize the damage that I can do here and get through this phase as quickly as possible. And we don't have an item active. The only unit actually I guess we haven't really talked about, and there's 2 really, is the Future Gohan. So Future Gohan, I don't know if I would say he's underrated because he is definitely on the lower end of the tier list for Dokkan Fest exclusives, but he builds up damage reduction over time. So by the time we get like a good few turns in, I think he has 50% damage reduction. So you'll see later on once we get to the tech phase, he is actually very good defensively once we get this far into the event. Like fairly early on, I think we saw him take a hit for a little bit more damage than I would potentially have liked. But at this later stage in the game, especially in this int phase, he's very, very good defensively. And you saw Gotenks there attempting to go off again, triple super, but unfortunately the third one was dodged. But I think this actually worked out in my favor because we're getting the rotation with AGL Spirit Bomb Absorb Goku now, which means I can float him off. Whereas if we had actually hit that third super with Gotenks, potentially we may have finished off that Goku on the last turn, and then we'd have to deal with having the AGL Spirit Bomb Absorb Goku on rotation for the tech full power Super Saiyan 4 Goku. So obviously this worked out very nicely. And yeah, other than the Future Gohan, the other unit who we didn't talk about was the LR Goku and Vegeta, or I always refer to them as the LR Gogeta, the physical Gogeta from the 3-year anniversary. Got them in slot 1 currently. Obviously, in this phase, very, very good defensively. I think this is the first time, in fact, I've used them on a run on this event where they haven't transformed already at this point. Because obviously, this event takes a while. We're on turn 14 at this point. Once you get to turn 6 or onwards, they can transform once you are below 50% HP. So, normally, that happens fairly early on. Especially when, the wrong unit takes a super attack or something like that. But we still have yet to transform. We do actually get to transform at some point during this tech phase. But, yeah, I don't think it's ever... I don't think I've played it through once up to this point where it's taken this long. But I did a quick defense check. And as I was suspecting, the Gotenks, now that he's up to Super Saiyan 3... pre-super attack, his defense is higher than the Gogeta. And in fact, I think he raises his defense by more than Gogeta does on super anyway. So Gotenks has now become the better slot 1 option in his Super Saiyan 3 form. And of course, they both have type advantage anyway. So we're going to be able to start doing a lot more damage here. Gotenks getting the additional super. I believe this is the last turn where he gets the guaranteed additional super. So we'll be relying on the RNG for the following turns. We even get the additional from the hidden potential system, but unfortunately it was only a normal attack. But, I mean, it still did some okay damage. And then, of course, Gogeta coming in here with the Soul Punisher. Nearly 2 million damage. Get an additional normal attack from him as well. So, yeah, we start off this phase pretty explosively. Gogeta takes a super attack. We obviously have type advantage, but no item active. We do still take 165k, so still a fairly significant amount of damage, but Namek Goku on the end here should be fine. His guard did not actually activate, and then here we go. We get the fusion with Gogeta. I was actually kind of worried for that turn because I didn't use an item. If the super attack had been on Namek Goku at the end there, I'm pretty sure watching it back now, his guard didn't activate. So if he was super attacked in that 3rd slot, we potentially would have died. But we took a decent amount of damage to drop below 50%. And now we have the fusion with the Gogeta. I decide now is a good time to pop the Whis, because I'm pretty sure Spirit Bomb Absorb Goku will be back on the next rotation. So the Whis will still be active. And that means we can go ahead and just start firing off these super attacks here. I took a risk with the Gohan because I was pretty sure with the damage reduction that he's built up so far, plus the extra damage reduction from a Whis, I was pretty sure he was going to be fairly untouchable in the final slot. So obviously the LR Gogeta can go off in slot 1. He is super effective against all types now that he's transformed into Gogeta, so he does some pretty decent damage. And then Goku, I mean, you can see here what we were talking about, the fact that he doesn't stack attack. Super attacking and hitting for under 500k is a little bit disappointing because obviously with this event, once you get to the very end like this, you really want to try and end it as quickly as possible. And that's why units like this Namek Goku or like the Int Goku Black on Corroded Body of Mine, for example, they're good because they stack up their defense and they can tank hits really well, but they just don't hit very hard. So they make the event take a little bit longer. But I mean, you saw there Gohan tanked all those attacks like a champ, including the super attack for double-digit damage. And then we go back to our good old Gotenks and Gogeta, double int rotation, very, very good for fighting the Tech Goku. Now, unfortunately, the orbs fell in such a way that I could only get the 18 key super with Spirit Bomb Goku, because as I was saying right at the start, especially when we get to this final phase, I really want to be trying to get his 12 key super so that he can raise his defense. But we had the Whis active, so had to just go for it. If the Whis wasn't active, I feel like this would definitely have to have been a turn where we would have to have used an item just to help protect Spirit Bomb Goku, since we're not getting the 18 key super. But he should be okay. I mean, he is taking a few attacks, but 4.2 million attack stat for him. Unfortunately, with type disadvantage, he does need to crit in order to deal decent damage, which he does not. But 10k is actually really not that bad at all, so I'm perfectly fine with that. and then we move into this next phase. So I'm trying to keep an eye out. The Dokkan gauge is building up. I want to make sure that I can push it up as much as possible, but then obviously not actually get the Dokkan attack here. Very much do I want the Dokkan attack with one of the int units. So we managed to play around the same type orbs and everything on that turn and not get the Dokkan attack, but it is very, very close. So Namek Goku with his guard activated, 180k from a super. I mean, obviously that is a lot of damage, but considering how hard this full power Goku can hit some of your units, that's actually not too bad at all. And with the total HP of the team, you can see at the bottom there, we're not even below 50%. So very, very good. And then finally, Namek Goku 2.29. I mean, as you can see, his attack stat not ever getting any higher because it doesn't stack at all. Doesn't do crazy amounts of damage, but I mean, look how low this Goku's health is. And of course, the biggest annoyance about this final phase has been removed, because when Goku dodges your biggest hits of the turn, that's when it gets really infuriating, especially when you're this close to the end and potentially running the risk of dying. Whereas, of course, the Dokkan attack cannot be dodged. So we go ahead and give that to the Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks. Goku is literally trying to pull out all the stops to finish me off here, going off with a super attack in slot 1. 180k even on the int Gotenks. So as you can see, our health becomes dangerously low. But we go ahead and get our second Dokkan mode of the run here, and Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks coming in at just over a 4 million attack stat. He is going to do a very, very decent amount of damage here, considering the type advantage. So yeah, nearly just under 4 million. So, I mean, you can see his health took a major hit. Gogeta will be up next, and he's obviously going to hit pretty damn hard as long as Goku doesn't dodge, which he doesn't. So let's hit him with another one of these Soul Punishers. Very close. Now, unfortunately, I couldn't super attack with Gohan. I made sure to pick up the physical orb with him so we could guarantee the Dokkan attack. But because he doesn't hit very hard, I'm actually fairly sure that even if we had gotten a super attack for him, we wouldn't have actually finished off this phase. So go ahead and put Namek Goku in slot 1. Give all these orbs to the Gogeta so he can get his 18 key super. And then Spirit Bomb absorb Goku. Again, unfortunately, I'm in a position where I can only get the 18 key super or no super at all. So I decide to go for it because, I mean, unless he dodges a lot, like, we have to kill him this turn anyway. Otherwise, you know, the Spirit Bomb absorb Goku could potentially take quite a beating in the final slot. But he doesn't dodge Namek Goku, survives with the tiniest sliver of health. Here he goes again. Another super attack coming our way. But Namek Goku with the guard active, 150k. Not really that bad considering the amounts I have seen him hit certain units for. But Gogeta going to come in with one final Soul Punisher. Doesn't get dodged. 1.5 mil damage. And that is the end of the run. So there you go. That is the Connected Hopes mission completed using a Super Saiyan team. For people who do not have access to the AGL PAIKUHAN, obviously you can't see like the mission complete prompt come up because I've already done all the missions myself. But there you go. Connected Hopes done with a Super Saiyan team for people who do not have PAIKUHAN. So let me know what you guys think of the team build down below. And hopefully this will help out some people who don't have PAIKUHAN to get the run actually completed. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new, check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.